Boston and Brittney Griner situation has reached a kind of a level that I never thought we would see it. It has reached one of these weird levels where I'm like, oh God, this is one of those things where it's not a good look for Brittney Griner. It's not a good look for the WNBA because let's be completely real. These players are...
That's not just frustration you're hearing. That's someone who's watched the situation spiral completely out of control because what started as normal basketball beef between two elite centers has turned into something the WNBA didn't see coming. Brittney Griner, 8-time All-Star and Olympic gold medalist, is publicly going after Aliyah Boston on social media. And when I say going after, I mean she's searching her own name, finding random posts, and clapping back at fans who criticize her matchups with Boston. This isn't a calculated PR move. This is personal.
Somebody posts on, again, I didn't even think I don't have Threads. I don't even know what it is. I made a blue sky because someone told me to make a blue sky and then never posted on it. But someone says Brittney Griner is a dirty player who's jealous of Aliyah Boston. There's no way Brittney Griner is jealous of Aliyah Boston. Like, let's be real. Brittney Griner and Aliyah Boston get into it every single time the Fever play.
Here's what actually happened on the court that sparked all of this. Every single time the Indiana Fever played the Phoenix Mercury this season, Aliyah Boston's post-game became a problem Brittney Griner couldn't solve. Boston uses perfectly legal post moves with her elbows tucked, spins with speed, and catches defenders clean. It's textbook basketball. But when you're on the receiving end of those elbows multiple possessions in a row, textbook starts feeling personal. The breaking point came during their regular season matchup when Griner, clearly frustrated after getting hit by another Boston post move, retaliated by clawing at Boston's face. Flagrant foul. Should she have been ejected? Absolutely. But here's the part that matters more than that one incident. Phoenix had to bench Griner for extended minutes in multiple games against Indiana because Boston was destroying them in pick-and-roll coverage. A max contract player rendered unplayable by a second-year center.
Why would I be jealous of someone when I played against legends and GOATs? She ain't got shit I want or ever want. Like, what? What? Like, there's no way. There's actually no way. WNBA players feeling the urge to search their names. I'm fully convinced of that. I am fully convinced. She's right. I hate Jazz Gobert. Yeah, I actually do think that's the weirdest argument. They don't like each other. They play against each other. They play the same position. I don't know.
Now, let's talk about what happened on Threads, because this is where it gets messy. Some random user posts. Brittney Griner's a dirty player who's jealous of Aliyah Boston. Standard internet nonsense that most athletes ignore. But Griner didn't ignore it. She responded directly, "Why would I be jealous of someone when I played against legends and GOATs? She hasn't got what I want or ever wanted." That's not addressing a troll. That's taking a shot at Boston herself. Then she doubled down. "Aliyah, baby, don't. And Kelsey Plum hyped you up to punch me in the face. I don't think I would. Remember, you and Kelsey are not the same. You did right to go and sit down. I've played in legends and GOATs. It never got to this. So, look closer at all the facts. Translation: you're not on my level. You never will be. Sit down and be quiet."
I mean, I'm gonna be completely real. Brittney Griner has 3-4 Olympic golds. Yeah, I don't think Aliyah's getting 4 Olympic golds. Maybe more rings. But, like, mental. Absolutely mental. That being said, like, she is clearly just searching her name. Bigs in the league really hate AB. They absolutely do. They absolutely hate Aliyah Boston. And you know what?
But here's what Griner's missing in her own argument. She mentions her 4 Olympic gold medals, her championships, and her legacy playing against legends. All true, all impressive. Aliyah Boston will probably never win 4 Olympic golds. But let's talk about what Boston does have that's eating at Griner. She's exposed a fundamental flaw in Griner's game that's going to cost her millions. The modern WNBA is moving toward faster, more mobile bigs who can switch on defense and operate in pick-and-roll coverage. Griner's 7-foot frame made her dominant in a previous era. But against guards like Caitlin Clark running pick-and-roll with a mobile big like Boston, Phoenix had no answers. They couldn't play Griner without getting torched. Even in the playoffs when rotations tighten and your best players need to deliver. Griner sat because Boston's style of play made her unplayable. That exposure matters. Griner was on a max contract. After this season's struggles, especially against Indiana, music. She's looking at a significant pay cut in her next deal. Boston didn't just beat her on music, on the court. She proved to every GM in the league that Griner's archetype has limitations that can be exploited. That's worth easily over $1 million across the final years of Griner's career.
If you're a fan, I don't want opponents to like my players. Like, I don't want the other team's bigs to like my center. Imagine being in a world where where a big is having to worry about whether or not they're liked. Imagine if a big is
And you know what? As a basketball fan, this is exactly what you want. Not the social media drama, but the on-court intensity. Other bigs in the league genuinely dislike playing against Aliyah Boston. They get frustrated. They talk trash. They try to get physical. That's not a problem. That's a compliment. Compare that to how players treat A.A. Wilson. There's respect, sure music, but there's also this weird buddy-buddy dynamic where half the league seems afraid to go at her full intensity. Players are friendly with A.A. off the court, and sometimes that bleeds into their on-court approach. They're not as aggressive. They're not as physical. Meanwhile, A.A.'s using that to her advantage because she is absolutely a killer music. When the ball goes up and she knows her opponents aren't matching that energy. Boston, music, doesn't have that luxury. Nobody's being friendly with her. Phoenix's bigs aren't giving her an inch. Connecticut's bigs are physical with her every possession. Las Vegas brings extra intensity when they match up. And that's perfect because when you're a championship caliber center, you don't want opponents to like you.
Because there is a competitive respect. People literally, teams, there are players that don't give their 100% matching up to AJ Wilson. And it is what it is. It's not that there's respect, because you obviously respect their game. But that they're not even confident themselves. Not even confident themselves. Like, it's all we're buddy with AJ, and AJ Wilson's a fucking killer. Let's be real. AJ Wilson can seem buddy with you and all that, but she's just using that to her advantage. Like, she definitely wanted to, play against the Atlanta Dream in the second round because she knows Alicia Gray would struggle against them, and the Atlanta Dream fans would actually be Aces fans and they cheer for both teams, and there's no hostile environment. We want the other teams. As a Fever fan,
you think about this from Griner's actual basketball perspective for a second. She's not wrong that Boston hasn't accomplished what she has. 4 Olympic golds is historic. Multiple championships, years of dominance, and playing against legends like Tina Charles and Sylvia Fowles in their primes. Griner earned her place as one of the greatest bigs in WNBA history. But that's also why this public response is so telling. If you're secure in your legacy, if you're confident you're still the better player, why are you on Threads searching your name and responding to random fans? Why does it bother you this much that a 22-year-old center is getting hyped up by her fan base? The answer is that Griner knows what everyone watching these games knows. The league is passing her by. Not because she's not talented, not because she didn't have an incredible career, but because the game evolved, and players like Boston represent where it's going. Faster pace, more switching, more versatility, and Griner's watching her effectiveness diminish against this new style while Boston gets celebrated as the future. That's got to be frustrating. But going on social media and essentially telling Boston, "You're not on my level," doesn't change what happened on the court.
If the Aces are now the gold standard and they're able to regroup and get better, you gotta be tough to beat the Aces. Because you're gonna have the referees are not gonna be on your side. It is gonna be a mental challenge. You need to be physically tough and mentally tough to get past the AJ Whistle and that team. And having a big who was basically gotten into the head of, not only gotten into the head with the whole elbow situation, Aliyah Boston has rendered Brittney Griner.
Here's the broader issue the WNBA needs to address. These players are chronically online, and it's becoming a problem. Not just Griner. Multiple stars across the league are constantly searching their names, reading every vetting, responding to criticism, and getting into arguments with fans. It's exhausting to watch, and it's terrible for their own mental health. The amount of genuinely disgusting content written about Brittney Griner on a daily basis is horrific. Nobody deserves to read the kind of hateful garbage that gets posted about her. The fact that she's still on these platforms, still looking, still engaging, is honestly surprising. Most people would have quit social media years ago for their own peace of mind. But there's this compulsion among WNBA players to defend themselves, to clap back, to make sure everyone knows their side of the story. And it never works. You never win arguments with strangers on the internet. You just give them more ammunition and make yourself look defensive.